Hey guys, Nate here, and today I'm going to bring you the guide for the new trace rifle, Ruinous Effigy. I do apologize because I did say on Tuesday I would have this up by Wednesday, but we'll get more into that later on into the video, into the guide. Now, first things first, your first step, you gotta visit the Drifter, or you gotta visit the Prismatic Recaster, because this is where your exotic quest begins. You need to pick up the weekly story mission, and once you pick up the weekly story mission, it's going to be followed by your exotic quest or your start to the exotic quest. Now, keep this in mind, you absolutely have to do your weekly story mission in order to do the quest. So the story missions that have been going on in Destiny since June 9th, since the beginning of Season 11, you absolutely have to do this story mission in order to move forward with your exotic quest, and you're going to see in the very next step why you need to do your story. Now, for your story mission, it is made up of three parts: your contact public events, your umbral traces, and finally the story mission that takes place on Io that we have been doing again since the season began. Now, once you get to this specific part where you see in the video, you're going to have a conversation, which I took, of course I took that out in case you want to experience that yourself. Now, before you leave, make sure you scan the branch that I just scanned, because that's going to officially complete your first step of this quest. So your first step is called Growth, and the subtitle is called Gift. Now, the entire first step is completing all of that, the weekly story mission, in order to move forward. Now, once you get that, we get this next. This next step is called Growth Pendulum. Now, for this step, you need 25 Calcified Light, and you need to defeat 15 of Savathun's marionettes. Now, the reason this video took so long, or it took a day, it is arriving a day later, excuse me, is because I recut the entire calcified section of it. The original one was 32 minutes, and I took that down to 11 minutes. After looking at it, I wasn't satisfied with it, so I recut it again, and it ended up being a bit longer. But this is the entire 25 Calcified Light locations in full. Nothing has been cut out. I'm not showing you, it's here, okay, figure it out. No, this is the whole thing in full. Now, keep this in mind. There are 25. There are 5 on Titan, 5 on Mercury, 5 on Mars, and 10 on Io. And in this section, I start Titan, Mercury, Mars, Io. So this is what you're seeing, and it is the entire 25 Calcified Light in its entirety. Every location. I'm not skipping on anything. And before going any further, I want to give a huge shout out to Dio Volenti and Kadukus, two of Reverence clan members. We all ran this together, and this is the good thing about this clan. This is the good thing about this quest, is you can actually run it in a group. You can do the story mission in a group. You can do contact events in a group. You can do umbral traces in a group. You can do this in a group. So, I mean, if you absolutely can do it by yourself, but if you want to do it in a group, you can. And again, a huge shout out to the boys from the clan we are a part of, which is Reverence. Because now, for your marionettes, what you're seeing on screen right now, these are your marionettes. Excuse me. They are taken yellow bar bosses that have names on them. So while you're looking for your Calcified Light, you will bump into these guys. And the way it works is, if you're running it by yourself, you kill it. That's it. If you're running it in a group of 2, 3, maybe there's a fourth person, probably not, because I think fire team is 3. Anyhow, if you're running in a fire team, you have to make contact with the marionette for you to get credit for it. What I mean is, if you're running in a fire team and you find the marionette, but you don't land a hit on it, meaning you don't shoot it once, you don't melee it, you don't throw a grenade, you don't throw a super, you don't do anything, you will not get credit for it. So for your marionettes, everyone in the fire team has to make contact with the boss. You have to shoot your primary, your kinetic. You have to shoot your special. You have to shoot your heavy or your power weapon. Whatever the case is, you have to make contact with the marionettes in order for you to get credit for it. Because if you don't, you won't get credit for it. Now, these, keep an eye on the lower left hand side of the screen. You're going to see something pop up. You're going to get a message, and it's going to say something about a marionette or something of that to that effect. And all it is it's just, they pop up whenever. And so far you can find them on Titan and Io. We didn't bump into any on Mercury or Mars, but that's it for your marionettes. They are roaming random spawns, taking yellow bar bosses, and that's it. And you do have to make contact with these bosses in order for you to get credit. So if one person spots it but doesn't shoot it and says, well, the other two people in the fire team will kill it, well, that's good, but the two people that made contact with those bosses will get credit. So you do have to get involved in the marionette like process. The same for your Calcified Light. You, even if you're running it on a fire team, you do have to make contact with it, and you do have to scan it, because if you're just standing there and two other people pick it up, it won't count for you. Everyone on the fire team has to pick up their own Calcified Light, and everyone on the fire team has to, make contact with the marionettes. And so, again, right here you saw a few marionettes that we bumped into while we were looking for Calcified Light on Titan. Now, from Titan, again, we're going to Mercury, and as was already mentioned, here on Mercury, we didn't find any of Savathun's marionettes. However, I don't know, we weren't here on Mercury long enough to know if they do or don't spawn in. But I only saw them on Titan and Io. And again, if you're having trouble, bring up your ghost and go into nav mode, and you will see it pop up on your screen. You're going to see a little square, and the way you bring up your ghost and you look for patrols and things like that, it's the same thing here with the Calcified Light. You bring up your ghost and you're going to see a little square. The square is not going to be filled in. It's not going to be, a patrol symbol. So this is its own little symbol if you're having trouble or you don't know where to go or anything of that sort. But as was mentioned, this video is arriving a day later because I recut the entire calcified section of this because it was, much longer, and I didn't want to have a 32-minute video of the calcified light stuff, and I didn't want to have an 11-minute video of the calcified light stuff because it just was it was too short. It wasn't really specific, and in trying to cut things down, I probably missed one calcified light. So I didn't want to just put it together, upload it for the sake of uploading it, and then saying, oh, I missed one. Well, you guys got to find it. So, that's why this video is arriving a day later, because I, recut the entire process, and I put every calcified light, excuse me. I don't want to get things mixed up. So what you're seeing is every calcified light, and you can do it in any order that you want to. You can do Io, Mars, Mercury, Titan, whichever way you're comfortable with. But because the last 10 are on Io, we did those last. So we went Titan, Mercury, Mars, Io, and that's how we went about this. But again, you can do it any way that you want to. There is no specific order. There is no, hey, you gotta hit Mercury first, you gotta go Mars, there's no order. So whichever order you want to do it in or you feel comfortable in, you absolutely can go ahead and do it that way. Now, for the remainder of the calcified light, I won't talk because it's a really long section, and so I'm gonna stop right here, but I will pick up once this is completed. Guys, we're back. So once you collected your 25 Calcified Light, and you got your Triumph, and you defeated your 15 Savathun's Marionettes, my 15th one's actually right here, what you're looking at right now, your next step is going to be Growth Feed. For this step, you have got to complete Gambit and or the Reckoning, get Void Kills, and get Precision Multi-Kills. Now, for this step, it's all Void. What I mean by that is, your Precision Multi-Kills have to be with a Void weapon. Has to be. So it's sort of similar to running Thorn when you had to do the Void stuff. This is similar to that. Now, best way to do this? I'm gonna say Gambit. It only took me one Gambit game to get my Gambit percentage and my Void kills. One game in Gambit. Now, this is... So, how I did it was, I ran an Ikelos hand cannon, my Void Ikelos hand cannon, which is the same one I use for Thorn because it works really well. And I use my Nova Bomb subclass, I think it was Bottom Tree, I think it's the Slova Bomb. And I use my Deathbringer. Now this step, it's actually very fun because you get to experiment with different weapons that you may not normally use. Because my Deathbringer, I got it, and I mostly, get exotics for the sake of getting them, for the challenge. Most of the time, I'll try them out. If I don't like them, they'll just stay in my vault. But this time around, it was actually really, really exciting just to put my Deathbringer on and see like, hey, can I actually get kills with this, or is it gonna, do I need to change my weapon to Truth, or what can I use? And I felt that if I used Truth, it was gonna be just too easy, and I wanted, a bit more of a challenge, so I went with Deathbringer. Now, if you're playing Gambit, you get more points if you invade and you kill enemies on the opposing team. Likewise, you're going to get more points if you kill an enemy invader. So this is why, for me, I love Gambit to begin with, and this is why I went with Gambit, because again, it was a no-brainer, right? I wanna Reckoning, I've played it a few times. It's not for me, but you can absolutely do it the Reckoning way if you choose. You don't have to do it the Gambit way, but if you want to get into Gambit and just mess around and get your kills that way, you absolutely can. And one thing to note, don't change your weapons while you're playing Gambit. Don't change, because I try to use a scout rifle, a solar scout rifle, while I was playing, and I think I played 3 games trying to get precision kills with a solar scout rifle and ended up empty-handed. My precision percentage did not go up. So once you have your loadout set, try not to change it while you're playing. Bit of a heads up, your precision kills might take the longest. They did for me because, again, I was running... once I completed my Void kills and my Gambit, once I completed that, I figured I can change to a different weapon and get my precision kills. That was not the case. You need to keep your Void set up, throughout this whole quest step. So your Void subclass and your Void special weapon and your Void power weapon or heavy weapon. You need to keep that on throughout this entire quest step. Now, what I gathered from the games that I played, because it ended up taking me a bit longer just to do this. Your Cabal enemies, when you play Gambit, Cabal will give you the most percentage, as will Vex, of all things. I tried Hive, I played a whole bunch of different games, but from what I noticed, Cabal, and they were by far and away the way to go for the precision kills. Cabal and Vex, because you just shoot the Vex in the center and and then you can tell that you got a precision hit. Cabal, same thing. You don't shoot him in the center, you shoot him in the head, but you can tell that you got a precision kill. And You know, if you don't get the enemies you need or you want, don't quit. Just still try to work on your precision kills, because the more you quit, it's just going to take longer. But also, you know, just see what works and experiment and see what doesn't work. Once you completed Growth Pendulum, you get an exotic engram to drop. What you're going to do with that engram is you're going to return to the tower, go to the Umbral Decoder, and that is going to give you your Ruinous Effigy Void Trace Rifle. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I'm Nate. I'll catch you guys on the next one.